everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to ChasingCinema.com's official YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jacob Tiranno, and thank you for tuning in to my Week 27 update of my 365-day movie challenge. That's right, guys. 27 weeks in a row, I've sat in this chair and I've told you guys of what I've been watching for my 365-day movie challenge, in which I watch a brand new movie every single day. This week, I am happy to announce, was Movies and Candy Week. Now, for all my non-locals, let me quickly break down what Movies and Candy is. Movies and Candy is this amazing store, a local store here in Las Vegas. If you are local, it's at 10895 Southeastern Avenue, Suite 160, 89052. You can find more information at moviesandcandy.com. All of that information plus a phone number will be available in the description box below. Movies and Candy is a mom and pop movie store where you could rent films, you could buy films, you can have great, engaging, fascinating movie conversations with my good friend Trevor Layne. Him and his wife Katie Layne are the owners and operators of the store. I have been a fan of this place since they opened a few years ago. They were actually one of the first guests we had on our Chasing Cinema podcast, and I'm glad to still be friends with them. They also got two beautiful baby boys, which I've not had the chance of opportunity of meeting one yet, but I'm very much looking forward to that. But anyway, they are the ones who put together, well, more Trevor than Katie, put together this list. Now, Movies and Candy is the store for kids and for families and for people like true film buffs to go and enjoy cinema. They even have a theater you could rent out in the back of the store. You could rent out a theater for birthdays, for special occasions. You could watch a movie that you've rented or bring your own, enjoy pizza or whatever you want back there, have birthday parties. It is, trust me, it is amazing. But getting to know Trevor more on a personal level, I've come to find that his favorite films are quite obscure. They're different. They're things that you don't normally hear people recommend. He really enjoys low-budget horror films, or very, not necessarily always low-budget, but very gory horror films and things of that nature. So this week, I asked my friend Trevor Layne to give me 7 films that I could watch that would bring me down what I call the Trevor rabbit hole. And what I mean by that is Trevor has shown me some pretty obscure film and stuff that I've actually really enjoyed. I actually reviewed one film called Found a few weeks ago. You could go check that out, as well as our other current movie reviews right up here in that white eye, or excuse me, up here. I don't know, one of the two. You click that white eye and find that there. But I was really interested in seeing some of Trev's favorites, or at least his favorites at the moment. And I told him, give me 7 films of whatever you got. Hit me with your hardest. And I don't think he did. I don't think he hit me with his absolute hardest, but he did give me an interesting week. So let's hop right into it, Movies and Candy style. All right, day 183 is where I began Movies and Candy's week. And I watched the 2015 film Kill Your Friends. Now, Kill Your Friends was the beginning of a week that I'm going to vividly remember. However, Kill Your Friends is not a film that I'm going to vividly remember. Watching this movie, all I could think about is American Psycho. This movie is the UK version of American Psycho that deals with the music industry. And I hate kind of just comparing that film automatically, right? Like, we do our best as film critics to not always associate a film with another film. We try to break down the film on its own. However, it was a blatant impersonation of a film, and not a good one either. It's an impersonation of a film that chooses cheap thrills and kills over intriguing characters. And yeah, sure, Patrick Bateman, the amazing character, played by Christian Bale, was a psycho. He was sick, but at least he was interesting to be around, where Nicholas Hoult, who played the main character of this film, I didn't find interesting, I didn't find likable, I didn't find attractive. Granted, you might not want to like Patrick Bateman or like Nicholas Hoult because they're crazy psychopaths. However, there is something charismatic that attracts you to them. Nicholas Hoult did not have this factor. However, your eyes cannot stop looking at Christian Bale. I just feel like Kill Your Friends didn't have a purpose. It was a movie that was made because I see it as these filmmakers saw American Psycho and said, we should make that modern, we should do it in the UK and have it about the music industry and just have this badass guy who's suave and smooth killing off his people. And even though that is essentially the movie doesn't say anything. Are you telling, is your point of this film to tell me that the music industry in the 1990s was cutthroat? Because if that's it, I don't care. And I'm sure even if it was cutthroat, it's not that cutthroat. Though I could be wrong. Never been in the music industry in my life, so I don't know. But Kill Your Friends lacks interesting characters. It lacks the charismatic lead. It lacks just everything that makes American Psycho great. Characters to invest in, a story that's interesting and spellbinding. Kill Your Friends is just Nicholas Hoult trying to impersonate Patrick Bateman. And I know I'm trying not to bring up American Psycho, but literally that is all I thought about while I was watching this movie. Maybe this movie, Kill Your Friends, wanted to say something, but I will tell you, it failed miserably. Woo! That's right, I'm celebrating because you want to know why. I just talked about movie 183. And 183 times 2 is 366, equaling the number of days in this year. Meaning, I am halfway through my movie challenge. That's right, that is a reason to celebrate. What better way to celebrate it with Movies and Candies Week as I continued the next day like a trooper, passing that halfway mark. I was just strutting on. I'm in a chair, so I'm not going to walk. I could, but I'm afraid I might, unfocus everything. Day 184, the beginning of my journey into the second half of this challenge. I watched Hobo with a Shotgun. Hobo with a Shotgun was a film that I actually really enjoyed. Now, this is a film I heard about. I had seen the trailer that had played on the Grindhouse, that played before Grindhouse, which was a movie Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez teamed up on, if you guys remember. They made a bunch of fake trailers. Machete was also a trailer that they actually turned into a film. So they also made this movie, Hobo with a Shotgun, into a film. And I think this movie was just solid fun. It is gory, it is wild, and of course it is action-packed. It takes no prisoners. A Hobo with a Shotgun is just crazy violence. There's no in-depth message. There's no smart plot. It is just a hobo who's enough is enough and it's time for a change. And he does that by... However, though I said Hobo with a Shotgun doesn't necessarily have a deep theme, it does kind of comment on how the older generations look upon the newer generations. Obviously, in this case, though, newer generations are completely wrong. We're rotten, we're brutal, we deserve to be killed with the shotgun. But I don't think we act just like that yet. But it does have a beautiful way of paying homage to the great graphic exploitation films and the exploitation thrillers from the 60s and 70s, or the Grindhouse movies, which it was kind of founded in that film. I mean, it really does play a beautiful homage and has this wonderful look of being classic and having that 70s feel. This movie is the right amount of cheese, the right amount of gore, the right amount of fun. I didn't have to ask any questions because I was just having a good time with this Hobo with a Shotgun. A very, very fun movie. If you don't like seeing people's heads getting blown off with a shotgun, this movie isn't for you. But granted, which I will bring this up again later, it's not a person getting their head blown off with a shotgun in a horrific, disturbing, sadly way. That actually sounds kind of weird, saying someone's head getting blown off with a shotgun isn't disturbing. But the movie kind of makes it cartoony opposed to being a very disturbing image, right? Some of you guys who don't approve violence at all, you won't understand. But those who watch violence and don't care, you'll know what I mean. I mean, it's not like a serious, depressing moment when someone's head gets blown off. I mean, it's exploding blood in a cheesy, cartoony, fun, gory, horror fanatic type of way. So, the next day, day 185, Trevor recommends Kill Granny Kill, the 2014 slasher film. That pretty much says all in the title. Granny Killin'. Kill Granny Kill is another film that is made for a particular fan. The fan of exploitation, bloody slasher films. If that is not your cup of tea, then the movies I'm talking about are probably not what you should be watching. If you are a brave moviegoer, though, I please do invite you. And I'd recommend, if you're saying, Jake, but where can I get these films? Well, let me tell you, Movies and Candy. Guys, that's where I got these films, so you can take a drive down there and get them now. Again, it's at 10895 South Eastern Avenue, Suite 160. If you don't get the suite, I'm referring to the candy in Movies and Candy. Anyway, moviesandcandy.com for more information in the description box below. Kill Granny Kill is a movie that I might not be the exact demographic for. I sometimes enjoy these type of absurd, crazy, gory exploitation films. Sometimes I don't. It really depends. I'm really hit and miss, and I think that's why Trevor really was interested in seeing how I felt about a lot of these films. Kill Granny Kill was, yes, an absurd movie, but it embraces it. It's like, I'm so crazy, and I'm going to show you how crazy I could be. And it makes it work. This movie, even if I'm not the demographic, even if I'm not the person who's going to find Kill Granny Kill on the cover, which I will say is probably one of the greatest things about this, because the cover looks like a retro 80s cover. I mean, it is beautiful. And I guess the special edition, you get like a VHS of it. Like, I would buy it just to have that VHS because it looks so awesome and looks very retro. But it isn't the cream of the crop of these exploitation slash films, but it's low budget, blood splattering, cannibalism fun. I guess that's what I could say. Even when you're talking about these low budget slasher gasher films, it isn't the greatest, but it's a movie that you find yourself excusing a lot of things for because of the plot being so ridiculous. I mean, it's a movie that, if you're a movie fan and you do like these horror movies, it's a type of movie that you just beg your friends or girlfriend to sit down and watch, and just watch their face and watch how they react. My girlfriend's dad, who's not opposed to this genre, sat down and was watching some of it, and just watching his reaction was golden. I mean, it's a decent film. It knows exactly who it's made for, and it doesn't try to do anything but deliver gore, nudity, and blood, and cannibalism, and it works. It isn't as cheesy as I'd probably like it to be, but it does its job. Would I ever rewatch Kill Granny Kill? Probably not. At least not by myself. Like I said, if I'm going to make someone watch it to see their reaction, I'm all for it. For myself, you kind of push it. But there's some really good things to enjoy here. I really enjoyed this crazy movie. It even has actually some pretty interesting qualities about it. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a psycho type thing going here. No, it has nothing to do with the mother. I'm just talking about as far as telling a story. It does something quite interesting with its main character. But that was also an interesting watch. A movie that I like you see, kind of made me giddy and laugh. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's ridiculous fun. The next day of the 365-day movie challenge, also known as Day 186, I watched the film from 2015 called Absolute Zero. Now, Absolute Zero was sadly one of my least favorite movies I've seen lately. And see, this is something I really hate talking about, because now this film was made for, I think, $15,000. I mean, this filmmaker had a mission, he made this film on a small budget, and for that alone deserves utmost respect, right? Because you guys really probably don't understand how hard it is to make a movie. And this guy to do what he did on $15,000, I immediately respect. But that being said, I really, really, really dislike this movie. I couldn't find anything in it to defend it. See, here's a disclaimer. The reasons I disliked the film really didn't have anything to do with the budget. Yes, a higher budget would have probably afforded them some more talented actors, but other than that, my issues weren't with the film's look, the film's things that would cost more than anything. My problem with the film is its story, its characters, it's what its message is. I mean, granted, all of these films I've been talking about the ridiculousness. Absolute Zero isn't that ridiculous. Absolute Zero is about a kidnapping gone awry. And it doesn't throw itself into this world of ridiculousness. Yes, there are some odd things about it, and it is definitely a very strange movie, but it's not as crazy and absurd as like Kill Granny, Kill Her Hobo with a Shotgun. For me to leave that world of things need to work, where absurdity is what gets me over. That's not the case here. It just doesn't I mean, I've seen this movie before. Not this film, but I've seen the story of the kidnapping gone awry. I mean, Joel and Ethan Coen pretty much nailed it in Fargo. Not comparing this film with Fargo because obviously that's completely downright unfair. But when making this movie, I just wanted to know what this filmmaker wanted to say. What was he trying to tell me with this movie? And I couldn't find any rhyme or reason for it. I mean, I got past the mediocre sound editing. Again, something that money would have definitely helped. But that didn't bother me. I was forgiving for that. And like I said, the poor performances. But I used binoculars to find something likable about this movie. And I came up with Absolute Zero. Again, this really kills me to say this about a film that was made for such a low budget and an aspiring filmmaker. Well, not an actual filmmaker who worked really hard to get their project made. But for me, I mean, this movie didn't have characters that I cared about, I liked, I was invested in. I didn't know which direction it was going. I wasn't sure of the tone. Some parts of it, there was one particular scene that I enjoyed between the head of this kidnapping scheme and a person he's bringing in during the middle of the movie. And that was about it, because the movie kind of goes in a crazy, funny tone, or a little bit of a ridiculous tone, or kind of a dark comedy tone. The rest of the movie, I don't know what he wanted me to feel, because, I mean, I didn't feel anything. I didn't laugh. I wasn't in suspense. I wasn't nervous what was happening to these characters. I really, really struggled to look for what this movie was going to do for me. Kill Granny Kill made me squeamish and laugh. Hobo with the Shotgun made me cheer and laugh. I mean, this movie, I was just kind of waiting for something to happen. Maybe its placement in this week of films messed up my feelings towards it, but I really didn't have any attachment to this movie, and I was honestly really glad when it was over. Day 187, I watched the 2015 film Turbo Kid. Now, if not mistaken, this was Trevor's favorite movie of last year. You know, and he compared this a lot to Mad Max. If you read a lot about it, it's comparable to Mad Max. And I also have something to add to that. So let's hop into it. Turbo Kid was one of the most remarkably fun times I think I've ever had watching a movie. It cleverly uses nostalgia and outrageous action to deliver a hell of a film. I mean, there's this beautiful moment in movies when you're having such a good time that you're just smiling and you're grinning at the screen and you're just waiting for something, what's to come. And this movie always delivered. I mean, it combines those classic kid adventure movies that we grew up watching, you know, where these kids are going on adventure. It's about teamwork. It's about this group of people that you meet and you fall in love with, and they go on this wild adventure. And it also combines some of those the wild 80s, and sometimes cheesy, like gritty characters and plots and crazy gore. I mean, crazy gore galore. Crazy gore galore. Turbo Kid is filled with entertaining characters and a simple, effective story. One of the reasons why I love this movie was from the spectacular performance from one of the leads, whose name was Lawrence LaBeouf. She was so great in this movie, or she played the character of Apple. I loved her. And I was attached to her, and I was interested in seeing where this world would go. And I also was attached to Turbo Kid, this kid who dreamed of a better world and remembered the times and follows the superhero. Seeing this small change of him becoming a superhero himself is a great and fun experience. I cared about these characters. I really was interested in spending time with them. And she is, and like I said, Lawrence LaBeouf is so damn good with him that I honestly think, steals the show from him. As good as he is, Lawrence LaBeouf, she was so damn good in this movie. Turbo Kid is a film that I really loved. I really loved it. Wasn't my favorite film of last year like Trevor, no. But it is a movie that I love, I would love to own, I would love to refer to people to. And in case you're one of those people who'd like to watch Turbo Kid, that I mentioned you could get it at Movies and Candy, which is at 10895 Southeastern Avenue, Suite 160. Moviesandcandy.com for more information, or in the description box below. It just has so much going for it. It has the audacity and fun and wildness of Mad Max Fury Road and the heart of the Goonies, and that is magical. Day 188 of the 365-day movie challenge, I watched Tater City, which is an Italian film, I believe, and was made in 2012. I'm just going to quickly read my tweet. Day 188, Tater City. Wow, wow, wow. That's a reference to Gordon Ramsay. When he's in shock, he goes, wow, wow, wow. Can't do a very good Gordon Ramsay, but that's what he would say. Tater City is one of the most goriest, bloodiest, violent films I think I've ever seen. It's pretty wild. However, it plays the gushing blood and the body and head splitting of people in a more cartoony fashion. I talked about this in Hobo with a Shotgun. However, this movie takes it to an extreme where it's kind of almost so cartoony, it's not effective in the terms of disturbing. Now, there is blood. I mean, I wanted a blood gallon count in this movie because I feel like they use so much. And when I say cartoony, mind you, I don't mean as it is a bad thing, because it's not. It makes this movie tolerable, right? The feeling of being cartoony, not so realistic, makes us easier to accept it and makes it more tolerable. Not meaning that this movie is more tolerable, but the things that people are going through and the gore, the horrific, horrible things happening to people, I'm able to take without being like seriously disturbed or hurt. So in all honesty, it's very smart. I mean, I couldn't watch an hour of really disturbing like vicious gore porn, right? This movie makes it more tolerable by being a little bit more cartoony. The blood's a bit more watery than you'd expect it. The effects are a little bit cheesy, and when heads are exploding, it's a little bit campy and very video game-ish. So it's easier for us to kind of accept. And that works for this movie because otherwise it's an hour of vicious, like horrible, disturbing imagery. But because it's in that more cartoony, not realistic world, it makes it a little bit more fun. Tater City is a really crazy movie. I was in shock for about 80% of it, just going like, what the? Wait, what? What the? It's not a film that I loved, but I didn't hate it either. It's a really ambitious movie. It's a movie that wanted to do so much. It wanted to have characters with superpowers. It wanted blood and gushing and cannibalism. It wanted to do so much and had so much ambition that I respect that it got made. I mean, the movie does have some cheesy effects. The blood doesn't look the realist. The acting isn't particularly great, but this movie really did everything it wanted to do. It had a lot going for it. It wanted to do a lot, and making it on its budget, it was extremely hard. So again, like, this is another example of these small movies being made is really, really incredible. It's a film that I'm glad I watched, and I had a decent time viewing it. I just don't know if I'd revisit it again. I'm glad I saw it. It's cool, but like Kilgan and Krill, unless I'm showing it to someone and simply watching their expression, I don't see myself popping in Tater City, but I'm glad I saw it. It doesn't have the most structured plot or any really likable characters either, but at least it was trying to do something. Even if that something is gut-blushing cannibalism film where people are ripping off their own limbs, then Tater City goes all in. They put everything in making this crazy movie, and I respect them for that, even if I didn't love it. And concluding Movies and Candy Week for day 189 of 365-day movie challenge, I watched Tetsuo, the Iron Man. I don't know if it's Tetsu or Tetsuo. I believe it's Tetsuo, the Iron Man, the 1989 film. Now, this is probably going to surprise everyone, but this is going to be the movie that I choose you all watch. Well, that or Turbo Kid, okay? Because this is really a film that I'd only recommend to the extremely brave moviegoer. Excuse me, the extremely brave movie buff, because even the moviegoer who goes and sees the new release every week might not be able to handle Tetsuo the Iron Man. Tetsuo the Iron Man was a film that is so unconventional and so stylish that it becomes a force that needs to be reckoned with. I watched this 1 hour movie and was completely catapulted into this world. And it was one of the most interesting experiences. Look, this is how I felt. I was watching the movie like this. It was one of the most interesting movie experiences I've ever had. It is not a film if you're looking for mindless entertainment. If you're looking for just straight gash 'em up gore porn, check out one of the other movies I talked about. This is not it. This movie has an artistic vision behind it. And though it might not be clear to everybody, not all art is, it is there. And it has a vision, and it is a remarkable and experimental film that uses stop motion. It uses these other crazy practical effects. I mean, it was just a movie that I felt like I was in someone's nightmare. And I know some people say that about movies, but I really felt like I was in someone's nightmare. The way that the camera cuts, the way that we're looking at things, the way things move, the way things happen, I felt like I was in a nightmare, and it really transported me into that world. It's a film that, like I said, it could give you anxiety. You know, Rosemary's Baby gives me anxiety, which is what the filmmaker wants to do. It wants to make you feel hopeless and helpful. This movie will give you anxiety just because of how crazy it is, and it could give you a headache. It could even definitely do that. It's a clutter of horrific imagery and science fiction, but it's a movie that, like most of these movies, I don't know if I would own or I would say I loved it, but this is a definite film worth seeing. I mean, this movie brought me on such a journey. It's the one that I can't stop talking about. It's the one that's been on my mind the most. It's the one that I actually probably, when I said, after seeing the film, I said I probably wouldn't buy it. I actually might buy it just to experience it again because, you know, movies, the argument that movies have become more of a business than an art is definitely, there's definitely truth in that. And this is one of those films that was simply made for art. Right? You look at it and you say, "Oh, this guy's got a power drill in the place of his groin. That's just garbage." No, this movie, as strange as it is, and though some may consider it vile or offensive, really does have an artistic vision. This filmmaker really had something that he wanted to portray, and he does. I mean, and to go one further, the film does say something about the adoption of the industrial world and will machines be our downfall? I mean, this movie asks those questions in a very unconventional way, but such a memorable way. It might not be the easiest film to watch, but it's a film that needs to be celebrated for its originality and imagination. This was a damn good film. Tetsuo the Iron Man was great. That's going to wrap it up for this week, week 27. I know it's a bit longer than usual. I really, really wanted to give my all to this week because Trevor really wanted to hear how I felt about all of these films. Trevor, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with me and to give me these films to watch and review. Again, guys, check out Movies and Candy, moviesandcandy.com, or just do yourself a favor, drive down in there and stroll a movie store like we used to do. That's 10895 Southeastern Avenue, Suite 160, 89052. Again, moviesandcandy.com for more information. Click that description box for more info. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it for this week. Again, if you want to see my recent updates, our new reviews on The Secret Life of Pets, or Mike and Dave need wedding dates, click that white eye. You'll also see a bunch of links drop down, a bunch of cool stuff. Guys, thank you so much for watching. To Katie, to Trevor, to their beautiful baby boys, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I'm so glad that we met and we've become close friends. Go check out Movies and Candy. Make sure if you have any recommendations to comment them below. If you enjoyed this video, slap a like on it. Share it with your friends. Let them know. But if you never want to miss a video from myself, again, hit that subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jacob Tiranno, and please continue chasing cinema.